September 11, 2001. The city moved like it always did. Fast, loud, unstoppable. John Miller stepped onto the subway at 3:40 a.m., holding a warm cup of coffee and adjusting the blue tie his daughter had given him on Father's Day. He was 38 years old, a senior analyst at a firm on the 104th floor of the North Tower, a husband, a father of two. A quiet man who believed in hard work, family dinners, and never missing a bedtime story. That morning, as always, he kissed his wife Lisa on the forehead before leaving. She reminded him, "Don't forget Emily's dance class tonight." He chuckled, "I wouldn't miss it for the world." Their son Jake had just turned 2. Emily was 5, her world still filled with pink tutus and bedtime fairy tales. The train ride was uneventful. The streets were calm. The office greeted him with the usual smell of fresh computers humming and distant laughter from coworkers discussing football scores. He took his seat by the window, like always, glanced outside and took a deep breath. Life was good. No one knew that in less than an hour, the world would change forever. At 8:46 a.m., the ordinary shattered. The Ithyrus boom. Ceilings shook the entire. Ceilings cracked. Smoke filled the air. People screamed. Others ran to the stairwells in chaos. John's coffee spilled across his papers as he jumped from his chair. From his window, he could see nothing but black smoke. The floors above were already engulfed in chaos. Confused voices, broken alarms, and the smell of burning steel surrounded him. He didn't panic. Not yet. He looked around. A young intern sobbed under a desk. His coworker clutched his shoulder, bleeding. John helped them both. They reached the stairwell, but thick smoke poured down like a wall. The exits were blocked. The elevators had stopped, and there were no more announcements. Only silence, sirens. Fear the word trap. John pulled out his phone. No signal. He tried again. And again, and think it connected. The phone rang only once before Lisa answered. "What's cracked?" Her voice cracking on. "Are you okay?" John tried to steady his voice. Around him, smoke curled through cracks in the ceiling tiles. People coughed. The floor beneath his feet trembled every here and then. But all he focused on was her voice, the sound of home. "I'm okay." He lied gently. "But listening, there's something I need to say." "Joe, no, I do that. Just get out, please. Please just get out." He said quietly. "The stairs are blocked." "I tried, but Lisa, I need you to hear me." Silence followed. On the other end, she was holding their son Jake. He was crying now. John took a breath. "Tell Emily her daddy loves her more than the whole sky. And Jake, tell him to keep being brave, even when it's scary. Can you do that?" Lisa sobbed into the phone. "No, don't talk like this. You're strong. You'll get out. I'm trying." He said, though he knew he wasn't. "But just in case I don't, I need them to remember." His voice began to break. "You need them to remember I never stopped loving them. And I need you to remember that every good thing in my life began with you." Outside the tower, the world was falling into chaos. But inside that call, time stopped. It was just a man saying good the only way he knew hope with love, not fear. "I'm not afraid." He said, "Finally, I had everything. I had you. I had them. That's more than most people get in a lifetime." Her voice was lost in tears. I love you so much." And for a moment there was nothing, just the hum of the line, just two hearts trying to hold on. Acro smiles in tragedy. Then you, John, whispered, "You gave my life meaning." And the call ended. After the call ended, John sat down near the stairwell wall, breathing heavily, clutching the phone like it was still connected, like Lisa could still hear him. The smoke had thickened now. The windows had turned black with soot. The fire alarms had stopped. There was no more running, no more escaping, only time and memories. As the floor around him quieted, something strange happened. His mind didn't run race with fear, it slowed down. And in that silence, memories came rushing back, bright, vivid, alive. He remembered holding Emily for the first time in the hospital, wrapped in a pink blanket, crying out with a strength that surprised even the nurses. He remembered Lisa's sleepy smile in that moment, tired, beautiful, and full of love. He remembered their wedding, barefoot on a quiet beach. Just the two of them and a pastor with a shaky voice. The way Lisa laughed when he almost dropped the ring, to the way she said, "I do," like she'd been saying it her whole life. He remembered Jake's first steps, how the little boy ran straight into his arms and wouldn't let go. That day, he thought, this is what forever feels like. Now, surrounded by smoke and silence, John smiled softly through the tears forming in his eyes. People around him were quiet too. Some were praying, some were crying, some were calling loved ones. Final calls like in this of darkness, there was no anger, only love. Raw, desperate, pure love, trying to hold on to the light even as it faded. John looked up at the ceiling and whispered, "Please let them be okay. Let Lisa stay strong. Let them remember me smiling, not like this." The fire was closer now. He'd pressed against the metal rails. But John didn't move. He had said what needed to be said. He had loved with every second he had left. And now all he had was peace. 20 years later, the city still stands, stronger, quieter. But if you walk through the 9/11 Memorial in New York, you'll see a young woman with brown hair tied neatly in a ponytail, dressed in a crisp firefighter uniform. Her name badge reads Emila Emily. She was only 5 and her father never came home. Too young to understand the words collapse and terror. But she remembers the hug he gave that morning, the tie he wore, the way he smiled and said, "Dance like you always do." Lisa never remarried. She raised Emily and Jake with quiet strength. Every year on September 11, she would sit with her children, light a candle, and play the voice recording from the phone. Just a few lines saved forever. John's voice, trembling but full of love. "I love you more than the whole sky." Emily never cried while listening, not even once. She would just close her eyes, hold the badge recovered from ground zero, her father's badge, and promise herself that she would live the life he couldn't. And she did. She studied hard, Joanna passed every test they threw at her. While other cadets gave up halfway, she pushed harder. She ran stairs until her legs burned, maybe to feel a piece of what her father felt that day. Now at 25, she walks into burning buildings to save strangers. She holds children the way her father once held her. She breathes in smoke and still remembers his last breath. People call her brave, but she always says, "I'm just his daughter. That's all I ever needed to be." Jake, now 22, became a teacher. He tells his students stories of courage, not from history books, but from a man they never met. Somebody who never made it home but made every second of his life matter. And that family pain became strength, loss became purpose. And every year when the world mourns, the Millers don't just remember what was lost. They remember what was left behind. Courage, love, and a name that still means something. The sun rises slowly but on September 11 every year. Flags hang low, sirens pause. And in the heart of your aims are whispered one by one, of names carved, and each among them is John and Miller. Emily stands in front of it each year, a single white rose in her hand, her father's badge pinned to her chest. Her fingers trace the letters like she's holding his hand again. She doesn't cry. Instead, she closes her eyes and let father's voice replay in her mind. Not the panic, the tragedy. Just that one lining, "You gave my life meaning." That single sentence had shaped her entire life. It taught her what strength really is, not the absence of fear, but the choice to love, even when you're scared. As the memorial bell rings, Lisa stands beside her. Older now, her face lined with both grief and grace. She never tried to forget John. Instead, she made sure the world remembered him for more than how he died, but for how he lived. Jake joins them, his arm around his mother. In his classroom, he teaches not just math or history, but resilience. He tells kids some heroes don't wear uniforms. Some just make a phone call and leave behind a legacy of love. Back in that tower, John never knew that his last words would become the anchor for through lives. That his courage in the face of death would ignite something stronger than firepuss. He never to walk Emily down the aisle, never got to see Jake graduate. He missed birthdays, dance recitals, scraped knees, and wedding vows. But somehow he never really left, because love like his doesn't then die in buildings or in smoke. It lives in voices, in footsteps, in every person Emily saves, in every child he teaches, and every tear Lisa wipes from another widow's eyes. And so, the last call wasn't just a goodbye, it was a beginning, a message not just for his family, but for all of us to speak love while we still can, to make every second matter.